I think the last thing that we had up for tonight was the Neverending Misadventures of Atsuko, Kageri.
Yes, that's correct. I put it in chat. So the last story that we're going to be reading tonight, and then I think we're gonna call it for the night, is The Neverending Misadventures of Atsuko Kageri, which is a Little Witch Academia fic, also written by the Belmonts. We've been reading this one for a few weeks now. We're on chapter 5. It's quite well written. I am not familiar with the Little Witch Academia. I've had it consistently recommended, and it is, I think, on my very long list of things I will eventually watch. But it's a good fic, and I've been able to follow what's happening for the most part, despite not being familiar with the source material. So it is not rated, no archive warnings apply, doesn't have any particular, bad content or anything. Tags include botany, flowers, gay, lesbian, Lily, Diana Cavendish is also gay, everyone is gay, magic, spells, hand-holding, how many tags is good, I like tags, I have brainworms. It's called Ako is a useless lesbian that doesn't understand subtlety. Listen, if you put only girls inside of a school, the only thing you're going to get is more lesbians. Time travel, fluff adjacent, fluff, alternate universe, canon divergent.
That schools are kind of weird because if you put a lesbian in there, she's going to have a field day.
Let me just look and see what voices we need for this chapter. We have a narrator, we have
I have to go in like 30 minutes.
That's fine. We should be done right around then. This is not a super long chapter. We have Ursula, we have Diana, we have Akko, I think, is talking there.
I think I clocked Akko in the thing.
Okay, you're Akko. Are you saying we saw an Akko part?
No, I saw an Akko part.
Okay, we've got...
there's a lady named Beatrice later in the the fic.
Chapter, yeah.
Yeah, I don't...
And there's...
Tags are fun. They are fun. Croy, I'll do Croy's voice since I think I've been voicing her in every chapter.
There's a woman named Adamine.
We've got a lot.
A woman named Woodward, I think.
I'll do Diana.
Okay, yeah, I think you've been doing Diana's voice.
I can be the narrator since
yeah, that sounds good.
I haven't been following.
No worries. Okay.
I'm gonna voice. I know none of these characters.
It's fine. We need an Ursula and a Diana.
No, I can be
Ursula.
I can be Diana if you guys don't want to voice Ursula.
No,
Diana.
Doesn't matter. We just try to split things up more or less evenly. Oh, Ursula's another professor. I'll do Ursula then, I guess.
I'm gonna give her Ursula from Little Mermaid voice.
Oh, okay,
That's
you're
cool.
gonna do
That's
Ursula.
So fair.
That's fine. Okay, cool. Who's Beatrice?
I can be Beatrice. I don't think she has a big role.
No. Are you comfortable switching back and forth between narrator voice and character voices?
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
I mean, I'm a DM. I can do that often.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that sounds...
All right.
Alright,
well, let's get going.
Yeah, let's do it. I think... Did Hosta say that they were going to do Akko?
Hosta? Oh, dang. Hosta, you're Akko, right?
My mom wants me.
Alright.
I don't think I'll be able to get on.
No worries. We will figure
That's
it
fair.
out. Okay, in that case, I guess I'm doing... Okay, I'm doing Ursula, and I'm doing, I guess I'll do Akko. Sure, whatever. I don't know.
Okay.
Also.
I'm signing out.
Alright, bye.
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 Have fun.
Thank you for reading.
Also, I do have brain words, and I completely forgot what character I'm doing besides the narrator.
You're doing the narrator, you're doing...
Beatrice.
Beatrice. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right. Sometimes ADHD is a bitch. It makes you forget.
Me too.
That's fine. Take it away whenever you're ready.
If you looked closely at the area that Akko and Diana both found themselves in, you might think it looked remarkably like a spot the difference photograph. The two of them stood side by side, but unable to see each other for reasons that they did not understand. Akko took a long look over the rustic town she found herself in as she departed in the lily garden. She's been to the city next to Luna Nova Academy, and though it looked somewhat similar, things were just ever so slightly off. Buildings looked newer, but impossibly old. Trees looked small where old ones have stood before. And there was a relative amount of energy in the air that was far different than what she had visited in her own time. The hustle and bustle of everyday life, in whatever time she found herself in, was hypnotizing. Smells of fresh bread mixed with the scent of butcher's fresh cuts of meat, as both she and Craw walked through the marketplace of this old city. Meanwhile, Diana and Ursula walked side by side, glancing about the same city, a timeline apart. The same sense and city greeted them, but slightly different. Where a butcher stood in one booth for Akko, a fishmonger stood for Diana. Diana cast a glance around the marketplace, taking a deep breath as she scanned the crowd for Akko, or even Craw. I can't pronounce that word.
It's Croy. It's pronounced Croy.
Croy. Sorry.
Any luck?
Ursula said.
I don't think so.
Diana sighed. Her eyes lingered for a second on empty space. There was something off about it. Something strange. A timeline away, Akko stood in the exact same spot that Diana was staring at. She felt a prickle on the back of her neck, like she was being watched. She turned around and...
Diana?
For a split second, Akko saw the light green and blonde-dyed hair of Diana Calvadash, and burst into a sprint after her. After she got closer, she called out her name again.
Diana!
And placed a hand on her shoulder. The woman turned around and stared at Akko, confusion stuck on her face. Akko stopped and pulled her hand away.
Oh, you're not... Sorry, I thought you were someone else.
The woman beamed down at Akko and waved.
Oh, don't worry, it happens. Say, I haven't seen you around here before. Are you new in town?
Akko scratched the back of her head as Koi came running up behind her.
So sorry, ma'am. My daughter...
As Koi's eyes landed on the woman's face, she gasped and started coughing. The woman's face tilted up in a confused smile.
Is this
Beatrix? It's or whoever Beatrice's companion is.
Okay.
Amandine.
Okay. Oh, okay. Cool.
Beatrix, come now. We have places to be.
The woman turned and looked over at the companion, calling her name as Akko's face twisted into shock. Beatrix waved as a sharply dressed woman in a suit and bow tie ran up behind her. She placed a hand on Beatrice's shoulder and breathed in and out heavily, trying to catch her breath.
Wait, who is that?
I think this is the companion again.
Oh, yeah. Good heavens, Beatrix, you were right behind me last I checked.
Beatrix nodded and gestured to Akko and Croy, both of which were stunned. Oh, so sorry, Adamine. I just got stopped by this lovely little girl and her mother. It appears they confused me for someone else. The woman in the suit glanced over at Akko and Croy, both of who finally regained their composure. Croy was the first to speak.
Yes, so sorry for my daughter. You just reminded us of someone else. Though while I have your attention, you wouldn't happen to be Beatrix Cavendish, wouldn't you?
Beatrix gave the two a warm smile and nodded. I suppose that is me, isn't it? I take it you know someone from my family? Akko looked away.
You could say that.
Adamine looked down and shook her head.
Lady Beatrix, we do not have time for this commoners confusing you with some everyday rabble. We have places to be, and you know that Woodward is so close to figuring out the third.
Adamine stopped and glanced over at Akko and Croy.
Essay. It's almost done for our research grants, yes?
Beatrice looked over at Adamine and nodded. I suppose so. She glanced at the two of them. Say, I don't believe I caught your names. Akko pulled herself together enough to quietly say her name.
Atsuko Kageri.
Corey pulled off the goggles off her face and flashed a subtle smile.
Kageri.
Beatrice looked down at Akko and cocked her head. Kageri, you wouldn't happen to be related to a woman named Ren, would you now? Akko scrunched up her face and shook it.
No, not that I know of.
Beatrix shrugged and turned away. It might as well be a coincidence. May your day be filled with light. Akko turned to Craw and immediately grabbed her shoulders.
Coy, that was one of the...
Coy. Coy quickly slapped the hand over Akko's mouth and pulled her to a side alley.
Akko, not so loud. She'll hear you.
Akko burst with energy and hopped from foot to foot as she tried to contain her excitement.
9 old witches. That was her. That was Diana's ancestor. That was her. That was her. That was her. Ah!
Coy took a deep breath and glanced down at the alleyway, making sure that no one heard them.
Yes, they were. And they don't appear to have all the words of Arcturus yet.
Akko stopped and looked at Croy.
I thought they sealed the Grand Triskelion.
Croy nodded.
They did, in our timeline anyways. It looks like things are a little different here.
A light bulb went off in Akko's head.
We should follow them. They're supposed to be the best and greatest witches of this era. Maybe they can help us get back home.
Croy opened her mouth and brushed off the idea, but then stopped.
That might not actually be a bad idea, Akko. Good job.
Croy placed a hand on Akko's head, and Croy followed her out of the alleyway. Diana breathed a sigh and shook her head.
No, Dice. It was just some woman that looked like her.
Ursula frowned.
Even so, I don't think we should stand to gain much by finding her.
Stand to gain? What does that mean?
It means getting home should be our first priority, or finding a way to start. We're stuck in the past, Diana. We need to find a way home. There are countless different branches and rings that we could find ourselves in. They could be in any of them. We need to find a way to get home. And once we're there, we can actually have the power and the means to find them.
But what if they're here? We can't just leave them here.
If they're here, then that's easier since the energy has already been exerted. But they could be anywhere. They could be in the next ring over, or 5 rings over.
Diana growled.
How do you know so much about time magic? There's nothing at Luna Nova and anything in any magical documents I've ever read. The closest I've ever come to that is the summer with Akko in the Horologium chamber, but that won't be made for a while.
Ursula sighed and shook her head.
It's complicated, Diana. I don't know if I can say.
Diana paused for a moment. Professor Ursula was hiding something, and she knew it was important. She knew it was something that might be dangerous. Otherwise, she wouldn't have said it. Oh, she would have just said it. Correction. It had to be something connected to the time, right? Something that if she said, it would irreparably harm. Diana put 2 and 2 together.
This isn't your first time traveling through time, is it? You've been back here before, haven't you?
Ursula's face paled.
No.
Liar, why are you lying to me?
Ursula's face went red as she grabbed Diana's hand and pulled her into a side alley.
Diana, listen. You're not going to believe me. You'll never believe me every time I say this. I'm stuck in a time loop. A time loop, I guess. I don't know what's going on, and I don't know what's happening. You never remember this. No matter how many times I try to explain, it goes wrong. And I'm tired. I have lived through this day 413 times, and since then I've been slowly losing my mind. This day. There's something about this day that keeps pulling me back, something I'm doing wrong, but the Horologium chamber doesn't exist yet. I've checked.
Diana remains silent. Ursula continues.
And frankly, I'm tired. I haven't slept in days. Every time midnight hits, it's right back towards combing through that damned forest of giant lilies, and I don't know where. I don't know where Croy is, and I can't find her.
Wait, what? Croy?
Yes, Diana. Professor Croy planned something and did something that sent us all back in time. Sorry, I know I'm coming off as a little rude right now, but I'm just getting tired of this.
Ursula collapsed against the wall.
I think that's
no,
supposed
that's
to be me.
narration.
Narration.
Yeah, apologies. I got threw off because of the quotations.
That's me too.
Ursula collapsed against the wall of the alleyway and began crying. A movement caught Diana's eye as she stared at the entrance of the alleyway. No one was there, but she could have sworn she just heard Akko's voice.
Ursula. Wait, is that
Yeah, that's you.
Akko does Ursula?
No,
Or I do Akko?
No. Oh shit, is that Akko? Okay.
Yeah.
Ursula, I'm sorry.
Professor Ursula was a mess. Carefully placed mascara mixed with tears that trailed down her face, and realized that she has yelled as a student.
I'm sorry, Diana. This is just a lot.
Diana paused.
In any of the 413 times you've gone through this, have we ever found a way home?
Ursula shook her head. A determined look washed over Diana's face.
Then that's what we're going to do.
Cool.
We did it! Woo!
Yeah, I like that story.
That's a good story.
That was good.